Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and am I ever excited? One of our very celebrated musicians, the one and only
Thank
Jim
God.
Fidler.
Thank God there's only one.
I'd be happier if there were two, but I'll settle for one, you know? Jim, I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Music.
Yep.
It's wicked, isn't it?
I'm kind of keen on it.
Yeah, me too. I don't hate it.
No.
No.
Some of it, is kind of testing, but
Sure.
for the most part, I dig it.
Well, I'm glad you do, because 10 years later, you're back again with
Yipper.
another beautiful collection of music.
Yep.
I wanted to know all about it.
Well, it's an album. It's called RPM Volume 2, 10 years later,
Boom.
which is the follow-up. It's Volume 2 of RPM, which came out 10 years ago.
That's right.
And it's all original material. It's kind of like the Sgt. Pepper thing, it's me. It's all my music, but I kind of was able to step away from myself, and it's all about this sort of fictitious character called Mickey Finn. Mm-hmm. The Mickey Finn is like getting slipped a Mickey. In the old speakeasy days during Prohibition, you go in for a bit of bathtub gin or whatever. They'd slip something in your drink, and when they saw you getting woozy, they'd drag you into the back room and promptly relieve you of your wallet and your watch and all that stuff. So the whole idea was this thing that happened to me and a lot of other people. We see the guy on the TV, the girls screaming, the Elvis, the Beatles, the whatever, and we're like, yeah, I want in on that. Then you get into it, you get into the belly of the beast, and maybe you realize it ain't all it's cracked up to be. It's not. It doesn't come as advertised. So that's the whole idea of Volume 1. Kind of followed Mickey Finn through him achieving his fame and fortune, coming to terms with it, taking a bit of a nap, and then, Rip Van Winkle style 10 years later, waking up and here's Volume 2.
Wow.
And it's all shades of Beatles, Supertramp, Moody Blues,
Oh, yeah.
Eagles, So I got this inspiration from the Ruttles. If you don't know who the Ruttles are, look it up. Because that's like Monty Python, George Harrison was involved with it, the Bonzo Dog Band, all that great stuff, Neil Innes. And the whole idea that I took from that was they were doing, it's a takeoff on the Beatles. They're called the Ruttles, And it's all tongue-in-cheek. It's all total tongue-in-cheek. And it's, Monty Python kind of humor. And the songs, excuse me, they actually put out a couple of albums, couple of films. If you look on YouTube, you can find Ruttles documentary, the making of, all that stuff. But the idea is they do songs like "Hold My Hand, yeah, yeah, hold my hand." And so it's not a Beatles song, but it might as well be.
Right.
And it's actually a good song. And then they got Cheese and Onions, and then they got Piggy in the Middle, and all these songs that, they might as well be Beatles songs. If you like the Beatles, you'd like the Ruttles. But they're not copyright violations, they're just in the spirit of.
Right.
And I thought to myself, well, hang on. There's a longer story to the making of the first volume. It was inspired by a friend of mine, Rod, and we were listening to some quote-unquote classic concept albums.
Rod Priddle?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Such as Thick as a Brick, Sgt. Pepper, The Wall, so on. And we listened to half of The Wall. We'd been listening to a bunch of other stuff, and I just said, okay, that's enough of that now. Let's have another beer or whatever. And Rob was like, that's Pink Floyd. And I was like, yeah, I know, but just, I could have had enough of that for now. The next day I felt a little guilty. So I was telling him, I said, I can kind of see what they're doing, you know, I'm a producer, arranger, composer, songwriter, and I could kind of see the bricks in the wall. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And he said, "Oh well, geez, by Jim, you knows about music, so you know that's okay." But I felt a little bad the next day, so I went into the studio and just whacked out this quick song, this quick little thing called "Mr. Man," which kind of had the big beginning and then it pulled back and kind of ebb and flow. And I sent it to him. I said, "See, look, I just wanted you to hear, like, this is kind of what I was talking about." And I was just expecting him to say, "Oh yeah, okay," and that'd be the end of it. But he was like, "This is great. I love that song. Right on." And so the next day, I did another track called "Mama's Little Boy," and then by the third day, I just said, "Why don't I just keep going?" And it was all. I would just lay down music tracks, put on the headphones, get in front of the microphone, and just make the lyrics up as I was going along. So that whole album, except for one verse, is all stream of consciousness. And then I found out after, there's one song on there that's quite reminiscent of "In the Air Tonight," Phil Collins.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, well, didn't I find out years later that that's exactly what that was? He had no lyrics for that song. He put on the headphones to the music and just sang it just off the cuff.
I love that.
So, yeah, and then Volume 2, obviously now, it just, the spirit moved me, I guess. It needed a Volume 2, basically. And so it's all original songs, and again, all sort of bits and bobs and pieces here and there as you're listening that would definitely put you in mind of or in the mood of, like I say, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, the Moody Blues, this, that, whatever. And
Epic opuses.
in that kind of Ruddle style where you're in the spirit of, but you're
it's
not.
homage.
The chords are different, the notes are different, the melodies are different. There's no one particular song. Well, there's one song on Volume 1 called "Days and Nights," which is quite reminiscent and inspired by the Moody Blues' 22,000 Days from the Long Distance Voyager album. But again, you could go through it with a fine-tooth comb. There's no copyright violation whatsoever. But you hear play the two songs side by side, and you'd think they're ideal A sides and B sides to a 45. Which, by the way, kids, is not a pistol.
Not in our day.
No.
Listen, we're in our final few seconds.
Okay.
Where can folks access this amazing new music?
Well, for now, JimFidler.com. 1D, Fidler.
Right on.
And we're launching it online, worldwide, on the 8th of December, which is the anniversary, unfortunately, of John Lennon's demise. It's also the anniversary of the launch of my first solo album, Gypsy, in 95.
Yes.
And so JimFidler.com, and just have a look there. There's nothing there right now. We're going to have to run home and put something up there, but it's in the works, and it will be December 8th. And we'd love to see you there.
Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait, and we're all going to roll deep. Before I let you go, final track leading us into the break. Well, track 13, called "Over." I used to go out, but now I stay in. I was a midnight rover. I'd stay out all night. I'd keep up the fight.
But now all the fighting's over.
All the fighting's over.
Yeah.
Story of my life, bro. Guys, this is Out of the Fog. That's your boy, Jim Fidler, and we'll be right back after this break.
Cheers.